Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we are playing with some prayer plants, specifically with the Maranta Lemon. I need to check the name again because I'm not yet super used to it. So it's the variety Erythronura. And we have two of them, as you can see. This is the original or the standard, and this is the alba form, the one that lacks the anthocyanin pigment, which is also called lemon lime. Practically, they are the very same plant. One of them lacks the purple, which makes it rather special and not so easy to find as this one. I'm sure most of you have seen this around in flower shops. It's quite an affordable plant. It is very, very beautiful, but it's kind of everywhere, at least here in my part of the world, which is the European Union. This one, not so much. I do know that some of you are super lucky to find it in flower shops. In my country, it didn't arrive just yet. I ordered this one online from a nursery and it wasn't cheap, let's put it like that. For something that is actually lacking something, it should be cheaper, right? I'm joking. Anyway, today I want to repot these guys because if there's something these plants like is water. And let me tell you, they're not necessarily potted in the greatest of things. This one is potted in a tiny, tiny little pot, which I'm totally going to reuse maybe with an orchid or something more fitting, because right now I have to water it every day and no, I'm not about that lifestyle. This one has a pretty old medium, I do believe. It doesn't look all that good. So we're gonna pot them up and I'll show you how I will display them. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, don't forget to give it a like. And hey, why not subscribe? I post plant content very, very often, whether it's orchids or other plants, all sorts of stuff lately on my channel. How about that? I am branching out, I am evolving, I am growing. Very exciting adventure. Right, I'm actually going to start with the lemon lime because it's the one that gives me the most headache at the moment. So I just want to make sure I get this one done. Then we're gonna pot this one. Alrighty, so I have a new pot here. This is, do I have a size anywhere? It is a 14 centimeter size. I think this is about 6 inches, around there. And I have some all-purpose potting soil. It doesn't really matter necessarily what this plant, which I might call an orchid at some point in this video. It happens a lot. So yeah, this plant doesn't really seem to fuss all that much about the potting soil. As long as it can retain water, as long as it can deliver that moisture, she will be happy. I have discovered that from all of the prayer plant family, which includes quite a few more genera, I've discovered these ones are the most forgiving ones, are the easiest ones, together with the Stramanthe, which I think you can see there. And oh goodness, my grow room is a mess. You wanna know what this is? Okay, I'm just gonna show you. It came with these little bowls that I got from IKEA. I am trying out some cute little setups, cute little mini terrariums. We're gonna talk about these in a future video, don't worry, but yeah, that's where that came from. I'm not known to be the tidiest person, but anyway, so from all of these so-called prayer plants, I find that the Marantas are the ones that are easiest to grow, together with the Stramanthe, and I'm sure there are quite a few others. Calatheas, so there are some which are quite fussy. I'm looking at you, White Fusion. But if you are thinking of branching out into these types of beautiful, very wild-looking houseplants, I would definitely recommend this one. Even if you don't find the lemon lime at the flower shop, the other one, which is actually the original one, it's just as easy. And it is quite beautiful. The only thing you have to be careful with is water. Oh my goodness, these plants. So I am kind of lifting it up by the stems at this point, and it's a little stuck. Oh, there's a lot of roots here. Oh wow, turns out the pot was not actually very tiny. Well, kind of the same diameter as this one. This one is a little taller, so it will be better for water retention. I do want to remove at least the top layer of soil. I'm not gonna try to remove everything, but oh boy, I watered this yesterday and it's bone dry already. And one of the things this plant does when it is starting to dehydrate is to curl up its leaves. Do you see this leaf? Do you see how curled it is? It's not supposed to be like that. It is not a new leaf. This means, I am thirsty, mother, give me some water. That only means something is not right. Either the potting medium, either the pot, something doesn't work with your environment, with the lifestyle you have, with the size of the plant, and so on and so forth. Hence, change must happen. And typically offering either a bigger pot, either a more water retentive soil, either a self-watering pot. These are great candidates for self-watering pots. Something like that will typically solve the problem. Now, if your plant ever gets super curled, so you have multiple leaves that look like this, don't worry, just properly soak the plant, give it a good watering, and in a few hours, it's just gonna look a lot better. They're very dramatic plants. That's how people refer to them, and I agree, they are very dramatic. Them and the Phottonias, am I right? All right, so I removed a whole lot of soil from this plant, and this is the root system. Look at that. No wonder she was getting dehydrated. This is a very good root system and not enough soil to retain that water. So I am going to be using this all-purpose potting mix as it is. It's actually quite nice. It's different than what I've used before. And I think it's mixed with cocoa peat or something because it doesn't really want to compact. It has that texture of cocoa peat, which is pretty great. So I'm not going to mix it with perlite as much as possible. I like to avoid perlite, not because it's detrimental, but because I just don't like it. It floats everywhere. It overflows everywhere. And in time, it gets algae on it, it becomes brown, it just doesn't look good. So if I can avoid it by using bark pieces or anything else, I will avoid it. So let's measure. Oh, that's great. I am trying to maintain the same level as before, so I'm not placing this plant deeper in the pot or anything of the sorts. One thing I really like about these plants is that they are pendant. And some of you already know that I do have a soft spot for anything pendant. I find it looks very elegant. Now, the downside of that is that it can be rather hard to display. There are just so many spaces where you can hang a plant, right? Rather than having it on a shelf, which is a little bit more appropriate for home growing. But I'm utilizing the space that I have to its fullest capacity. I also like to place these plants on the very top of my shelves, and in this way, they can be on the shelf, but they can also drip down. Now, here's a trick that will help the soil just go down and fill up those air pockets. Get yourself a bamboo skewer or a stake, whatever you have at hand, a stick of sorts, and just insert it on the sides preferably, and then wiggle it a little bit. This will make the soil just go down. It will disturb practically the air pockets. And with this plant, you really don't want air pockets. This is not an orchid, it is not epiphytic. Furthermore, it really doesn't like to dry out. So it is better to try and remove all of these bigger air pockets. And this, I believe, is the best way to do so without damaging the root system too much. Alrighty, so this plant is repotted. I also found a decorative pot that would fit the interior pot. The idea is to leave just a little bit of space in between the decorative pot and the actual plant pot, because in this way, whatever excess water you will have draining, it will just evaporate. Even though this is not an orchid and we don't have extra ventilation holes in the actual plant pot, ventilation through the drainage holes and through the actual top of the pot is still important. Rather than having a sealed container around the plant pot, it is much better to leave a little bit of space. It is what I have discovered. Now, one thing that I do want to do is remove all of these spent bloom stalks. This plant also blooms, but it's nothing spectacular when you see this foliage. It's kind of hard to reach its level of beauty with the flowers. Flowers are really not spectacular, and I do think they take up quite a lot of energy from the plant. So typically I do remove the flower stalks. These have been on the plant when I purchased it. They're dry, so I'm just gonna cut them off. And excuse the dog that barks, it's not my dog, it barks all the time, I can't help it. And sometimes it barks for 15 minutes straight, which means I have to take breaks from filming, which breaks my immersion. I don't like to do it. Now, one more thing you should know about these plants is that they are not highlight plants. They actually live under the canopy, so on the forest floor, they're shaded pretty much all of the time. So it's pretty easy to find a decent place for them in your home. Just don't put them in direct sunshine. Make sure you find a pretty shaded location which is still bright. They don't like to live in the dark and pitch darkness. But if you have a place which does receive light but not direct sunshine, that is a great place for them. And I'm going to show you where I will keep mine. And here's my other Maranta. This one is a very common plant in flower shops in my area. And to be honest, people seem to really like the other one, the lemon lime, not this one. I guess we always tend to like more what we can't have. This one is really beautiful as well. It had a rough time at the flower shop, I have to say. It got super dehydrated and I do see that it's suffering a little bit. Now with this one, we are going to do some pruning because you can see it's not very bushy. I like mine to be rather bushy and then become pendant. So I'm gonna do a little trick that I did see other people do as well. I'm looking for a little jar, hold on. All right, so this one, actually I'm not going to repot it today. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. It's just gonna be the same story as with the other one, but I wanna bushen it up. So I first want to take some cuttings, root them, which is very easy in water. I'll show you how. And then when those create roots, I will pot all of them together and already have a bushy plant. Now, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna repot the base, root these guys, then plug them in and unpot it, or what exactly am I gonna do? I'm not sure. So I'd rather just propagate it first and then pot all of those cuttings together. So, do you see the plant has these long stems that come to a sort of fork in the road? Well, that is a node. It is a place where roots can start to form, amongst other things, new shoots, flowers, but also roots. So what I want to do is cut this stem kind of below where the roots start to sprout. Somewhere here. There we go. I'm also going to remove the flower stems, which are spent. And actually I do already have tiny little root nubbins. Let me give you a close-up. There we go. Do you see them? These tiny little bumps? Yeah, those are tiny little roots. They will actually grow larger. And in this way, you can propagate this plant. How neat is that? So I'm gonna take a few of these cuttings. I'm gonna arrange them in this little jar. And you'll see what I mean. The plant will become rather bare, which is fine, but I really don't think it is the moment to repot it. It smells very good. It brings back some memories. When I was a kid in the park, something with grass. It smells like grass. It's nothing special, but I really like it. Wow, didn't expect that. So here we have another stem, which is long. There we go. I'm gonna put all of these cuttings together in this vase and they will root. And when I will have enough roots, I will pot them together with the mother plant, which will actually branch out. There are nodes right below where I cut, where this plant can actually start to produce a brand new shoot. With this one, I don't actually have as many issues watering because I do have a pretty decent sized pot. I have a decorative pot. I can leave just a little bit of water as a reservoir and everything is okay. It stays watered for 5 days or so, which is far more achievable than watering it every day. I'm not the person to water plants every day. Alrighty, so this one will be like this for a little while, and when I will repot it, I'm just gonna do things exactly like the previous one. Also with the previous one, I could try to bushen it a little more, but that one already seems like it has quite a lot of directions. What I will do is take a little cutting, propagate it, and give it to a very good friend who is getting into plants. And I think he's really gonna enjoy that one. Bonus, it is not toxic and they don't want any toxic plants in their house, which is totally understandable. This plant is not toxic. Unlike a lot of very popular plants at the moment, such as philodendrons and theriums, those are all pretty toxic and you kind of need to be careful where you put them. With prayer plants, you have nothing to worry about. How cool is that? And they look just as jungly, just as wild. I love it. Alrighty, so let me just show you where I keep my prayer plants at the moment. So here they are. I'm actually keeping them on top of my Visto shelves, right on top of the biorb, which is empty. I emptied it. I placed all of my jewel orchids here in the rootstock cabinet. For now, they are not going to live in the biorb anymore. I have other plants with the biorb, and here are my prayer plants. Right now, it is kind of late. It's a little bit shaded. Typically, there is a little bit more light here since that side is the south and that side is west. Right now it's a little bit cloudy, a little bit later in the day. They actually, during the day, have just the slightest little bit of direct sunshine filtered through the curtains, of course. So I do believe it's gonna be a great place for them because up here, there aren't many plants that I can put. Definitely no orchids, not even Phalaenopsis orchids. Phalaenopsis are much higher light plants than these guys. Imagine these guys live on the forest floor and Phalaenopsis are higher on the tree, even though, again, under the canopy, they're still higher up than these guys. They still get a little bit more light than them. So yeah, I'm gonna keep you up to date. Maybe I'm gonna make a video about rooting these plants. If you guys want me to, let me know in a comment down below because I still need to take cuttings from that one. We can root both of these and I'll show you the process and, potting the cuttings. Let me know if you're interested in that. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching. That's it for today. Hope you had a nice time. If you didn't know about these plants, well, now you do. This one, I'm sure you're gonna find it very, very affordable in the flower shops. This one, maybe not so much. It depends where you live. I don't really have a favorite between them. I like both of them, but since that one is not so easy to find, it makes it just a little bit more special. But you know how us orchid growers are. Nothing grows at the flower shop, so everything is kind of special. So, if you can't find that one or if it's very, very expensive, don't worry about it. Get this one. It's just as beautiful. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me today and I hope you have a great day. Subscribe to my channel for more orchid videos, tutorials, experiments, updates, and other fun orchid subjects. If you wish to support the channel, do consider becoming a member or visit the merch store linked down below in the description. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. It's always nice to stay in touch there as well. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!